Sup shooters, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SB Reviews, where today we're going to be checking out a track by an artist named Rodney D from his album Overtime, and this track is called Fighting My Sleep. And without further ado, we're going to switch over to here to a Spotify where he has the rest of his tracks, and we're going to be listening in particular to Fighting My Sleep, which is number 3. So we're going to hear what we think. Hey, beautiful. I was concerned for a moment that my headphones weren't going to play the music immediately. Sometimes they don't connect properly, but I'm glad that it did. That kind of jazzy kind of piano is gorgeous. Oh. Am I insane? How would it feel hit by a train in my own lane? Some people say that I should change. I don't feel the same, and following them trends is lame. Will I remain to see a baby boy grow up, walk with a cane and teach what God showed us? Tell me what's real. I'm seeing through a lot of the fake. Try to show love, basically stay away from the hate. Chemical wars. I'm thinking what we eating in stores. All right, so we're developing. I like that we're developing this sort of main sort of original motif, that original sort of melodic idea with the piano. We're adding some sort of synths, and the drums are getting a bit more intense. It's this kind of development that can really make the difference between like a good single and like a really incredible one. And I just got to say, the guy is an excellent rapper, a great vocalist. You can hear what he's saying really clearly. It's been mixed and mastered well. And I've got a lot of love for the fact that he's sort of telling his story in a way that's really engaging and emotive. You really want to understand his point of view. Because the people ignore was out of my mind. Woke up ready for more, and I pray to the Lord until the earth turned into the core. I'm fighting my sleep. Sometimes I want to carry the heat. Rock 2 chains and keep the new J's on my feet. Be like all the rest. Self open smoke a pound every week. But I open my eyes and see that evil way too deep. I'm fighting my sleep. I know God is love, but it seems like they hating us. Is this the hook? Fighting my sleep. Just left the church and my nigga just plays one up. I'm fighting. There's like a bit of pumping in the master. Like, I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing, though. I think that's potentially done on purpose. It's just that sidechain kind of kick. Because the vocals are coming through smoothly regardless. And I'm really glad that he's hitting that low note really cleanly, eh? Like, it's great to hear both himself with this sort of kind of clean singing as well as his rapping. And I still be in the hood. Hearing them shots was never really sleeping too good. Brandon gone, London, Big Meech too. My brother Allen right before 2002. Now what do? They missing in my anger inside like a time bomb about to blow sky high. I won't lie, I was thinking of taking my life. Never knowing some nigga might be taking my wife. The mind I was given, they might say, nigga, you tripping, you gotta be sipping, smoking, or maybe you sniffing. I just be going through a lot of. That was beautiful. It was horrendous, the way that he was describing how the people were reacting to his issues with his mental health and stuff like that. But just the way he placed those words, the way he sort of is, drugging or snap, that's clever. And it's said in a way that sort of, I think, undercuts just how ferociously terrible that situation of him is. Wanting to take his own life, being worried about someone taking his wife, worried about not being able to see his kid as he grows up with a cane and telling him what God gave him. It's awful. I'm sorry to hear that Rodney D has been going through this. I have a lot of empathy for him. Rolling up a Titanic, let it blow to the end. I'ma need to chill. Get about this club that I'm in, cause only God can get me out. Only God can get me out. There's a few ways you can take that. One of them is very dark. The other way is that, maybe his destiny will change over time. Things will become better. That piano is contemplative, and it does sound like he's sort of wrestling. He doesn't want to sleep. Like, being in fight or flight mode like that is horrendous. To me, it sounds like Rodney D has had a hell of a time in his life, and he's still having moments where he's not really sure what to make of it all. Like, he's trying to come to terms with loss and what he's got, and sort of, because life is just a massive roller coaster, isn't it? But when you've also got like your friends being sort of killed and stuff like that, and there's all these issues with like drugs and violence, and when you have doubts about your future, whether you're going to see the next day, it takes a toll. And I guess it's a shame that Rodney D has had to deal with this, but on the same token, I'm glad that Rodney D has managed to get things together for a release like this, to let us into his world and to help us to understand who he is as a person and as well as a musician. In terms of technique, in terms of overall sort of methodology, the music production, the vocal performance, the songwriting, it was all flawless. Yeah, this was an incredibly strong single. You felt stuff for Rodney D as he sort of opened himself up to you to let you know what he was going through, you know? And the music supported him in a really kind and loving way. It wasn't trying to take itself too seriously, but it also wasn't pretending like this was a game. You know, it was sort of like you're sitting at a bar kind of trying to figure stuff out. Maybe the alcohol isn't necessarily helping you do that, but you feel like, hey, I just need to take a moment to kind of sort of absorb everything and come to terms with it all. And the whole experience, while I do feel incredibly, my heart goes out to Rodney D as a human being. I have a lot of respect for him as a musician. I think that if this is the quality of Fighting My Sleep, the rest of the album is going to be absolutely phenomenal. So thank you very much for watching my review of Rodney D. A 10 out of 10 for me. Fantastic. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please do check out his social medias and his Spotify. Stay cool, stay safe. Please also remember support your local musicians and us for in time, as a lot of them are going through really hard stuff and they need the support more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. I'll catch you next review. Spider hands out.